Hello and welcome. Recovery stories all look very different, but they almost always start with a moment of awareness, when something inside of you realizes this can't keep going on this way. Today I'm joined by April, who has her own powerful story of navigating that moment and everything that came after. I'm really excited for y'all to hear her perspective because I think that a lot of people will see parts of themselves in this conversation. So, April, thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what life looked like before things started to change for you.
First and all, thank you for having me. I'm a little nervous on talking to you right now, but as growing up, I dealt with a lot of issues and looked for a lot of love in the wrong places. Growing up was really difficult. Dealt with a lot of domestic violence and things that I don't like to talk about, but then that led me to, how do you explain, to use substance to numb myself, as in like getting bullied, finding my identity, and even the stuff that we don't talk about in our families because our older generations, where y'all used to staying quiet.
That is true, especially in the Mexican culture, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
So, thank you for sharing that. Do you know of a season that comes to mind or a specific moment where you just realized that something had to change?
Yes.
So many, huh?
So many, so many. Which one should I start? Usually, like in the holidays, it's when mostly where I struggle with because, you try to forget about things that you don't want to speak about. And so it gets very easy, like to, how do I explain it? It gets very easy to just go look for something,
Mm-hmm.
like to make yourself feel better because we don't want to talk about things. People want to forget. They don't
Yeah.
want to face reality.
It's hard to talk about things, because it's like one thing is to live through it and then try to put it behind you. And then another thing is like right now we're talking about it and it's like you relive it, I think, every time you talk about it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why people don't like talking about things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with that. So what season then, or like every holiday season, do you think that is hard for you? And then
Well, now that I'm sober, but before, I would just like want to leave my house. I don't know what it is.
before you got sober.
Before I got sober, just want to leave my house and not even want to be there because what was going on at home. Our families, sometimes our families don't even make it any better for us, as growing up. It's, or even society, school. Um, you just try to, how do you say, blend in?
Yeah.
You try
yeah,
to blend
yeah.
in with life. And sometimes we don't even want to tell our parents what's going on with us, which is like the pain that we refuse to feel, right? But then it's like how you say, it's like you're reliving it. But I guess I can say that maybe if I would have been more careful, or maybe I would have spoke up, maybe I would have got the help. But
like you're talking about growing up, because you're
yeah,
saying you grew up with a lot of domestic
oh
violence
yeah,
and bullying, right? You
yeah,
mentioned.
a lot of bullying, especially in the places where you live around. I didn't the schools that I gone to. Sometimes the teachers or the kids, they're not very nice. Um, it's like, and I got a lot of hits from the head as well.
So your journey was more so than focused on like mental health before
Yes.
it became addiction, right?
Yes.
And I think that it's common, like it's very common in this space that things overlap, where it's like
Yeah.
somebody struggling with mental health is also struggling with substance use, or vice versa, So I've seen that a lot. Tell me more then about that season of your life, then, as you were transitioning from, I guess, your teenage years into adulthood, right? Did the domestic violence continue?
Yes, it continued. it's still, well, now it's more calm. Like, but back then I was just so used to like, si te pegan, pégales para atrás, or, you know,
The
and
violence.
it's like, I don't want to, like, you know, I don't want to do that. Like, or like, so I don't know how to explain it, or like just the way you look. People treat you as the way you look. You know what I mean? They treat you as the way you are. And then sometimes your family doesn't make it any better because they're put in that place.
Do you think that your life would have turned out differently if, and not to point fingers or blame anyone, but do you think your life would have turned out differently if your family would have dealt with things differently?
Yes.
100%.
100%, because, you know, it wasn't they, how to explain it, from both sides, they didn't have the support from either, or, you know, or it's because they didn't like that person and they make it harder, or they didn't like your dad, or they didn't like your mom, you know, the person your mom or dad married, you know.
Yeah, I could say for myself, like I know for a fact that life could have been so differently. Was I don't know if you knew, but like both of my parents are also immigrants,
Yeah.
and they also brought me up in an environment of domestic violence. And my father was an alcoholic since I was a kid. And so then when I was in elementary school and I was a kid, I grew up thinking that it was normal. But obviously my nervous system knew that it wasn't. Like as I knew something was wrong because I felt it. Like I was always shy and I was always very depressed as a kid. Like ever since I was a kid, I remember just having these deep questions like, what's the point of everything, and like what for, and like I had no desire, motivation to do anything. And I think that if I would have had the resources, right, or like tools, like skills,
Yeah.
like emotional management skills, or like even therapy to get through the domestic violence or to process it, right? To have somebody there processing it with me instead of me feeling like this weight on like this weight of the world as a child and then not knowing what to do with all these big emotions. I think all of that started shifting my adulthood even before I even knew that it was shaping it, you know?
Yeah, you thought it was like normal, right?
Yeah, and then it's not like until I'm an adult that I'm looking back and I'm like, wait, so everybody didn't grow up like this, you know, like this is not how everybody grew up.
Like anxiety and panic attacks.
Right.
Horrible. And I'm like, your hands are sweaty and you're just like, what is that? Like maybe it's normal. My hands have been sweating since I was born. I want to let everybody know.
So yeah, I mean, I agree that definitely 100% life could have been differently as a young adult if that childhood aspect could have gone differently, you know. But maybe that's why the psychiatrists are making so much money these days. But I don't know. There's people that don't like to blame the childhood, you know. But
Right.
it's not, to me, it's not that you're blaming it. It's more so that it's like cause and effect, right? Like you can't say that those two are not related when we have like all these stories of people that grew up a certain way or that they experienced some type of trauma as a child, and then as an adult they're dealing now with mental health issues or addiction, substance use, you know.
Yeah.
So for you, do you think that that's how it played out, like one thing led to another, which led to then the substance use? At what age did you start using?
Oof. I started using. I'm like, oof. Eh. Well, I mean, the first time I started using was maybe at 13.
Me too. I think I was like 12.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's because, and then like, I didn't even, not only that, but like, sometimes I feel like you're forced to do things. Like, I didn't want to be in boxing. I could talk about it now more. I didn't want to be in boxing at all. But I knew if I didn't join, like, it was going to keep happening. Like, you know, like,
The bullying.
the hitting, or like, every time you guys see Cobra Kai, you see that little boy that's running like, oh, I'm going to get beat up. That's me. And then you just join it, and all of a sudden it goes away. Like, you're just tired of being scared, but you want to numb yourself, and you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about these things because what are people going to do?
Or you're weak.
You're weak. You're crying. You're doing this. But we should be telling these kids or these men or men that are getting married with the women, it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel like this. what's not okay is to look for something so you could forget.
Right. That's powerful. Yeah. And honestly, like, I don't think it's as simple, right, as this happened and then that happened and then that happened. Like, my life, it was a journey. Like, I didn't go straight from, like, using at 12 to being an addict. And I didn't use every day, all day for 30 years, you know?
Yeah.
Like, no. It was like I had a life. I graduated early from high school. I got a job. I went to college. I graduated college. And through each season, it was like I was drug hopping.
Yeah.
Like, I started with one, and then in college, it was another drug of choice. And then when I graduated, it was another drug of choice. And then I started mixing, and then it was cocktails. And for me, I didn't see it as I'm numbing or escaping. For
Yeah.
me, it was just like I'm having fun. Because there's like nothing better to do with
Yeah.
life. And I didn't want to keep thinking about the deep questions, right? Of like, what's the point? Because that was depressing. So I would just turn off the brain. And I was like, let me just go have fun.
And forget about it.
And I guess forget about the questions.
Go have
of
some
like,
fun, huh?
Right. Because if I didn't do drugs or alcohol, then I would just be looping in my mind, like, what's the point? Like, what's the purpose of life? Like, what am I doing? Like, why is every adult that I know hating their life and then telling me that that's just how life is? Like, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah,
you know?
you're like, what?
Yeah, like, is that how life is supposed to be? I guess that was the question that I always had inside of me. Like, is that how life is supposed to be? Because I guess intuitively I knew it wasn't supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
But, sorry, not to make it about myself.
No, but it's interesting. That's very interesting what you just said.
Right, it is, because the two different perspectives.
Yeah, because
of like,
you're saying that you were trying to have fun and you were trying to do, and me, and I'm like, I'm just trying to numb myself.
Since the beginning, you were
Since
just
the
trying
beginning.
to numb.
Yeah, because I had these. I'm a very scary cat. Like when you, as a child, I like, like a lot of stuff would happen. Like you would drop a box and I would jump and like.
But see, that's because your nervous system. I think that's what it is. Like, you're dysregulated. You're on edge. Mm-hmm. You didn't feel safe.
Yeah, and then I was around a lot of masculine. I was around my grandpa, my uncle, you know, my dad, and it's like I want to be just like them.
You know, I didn't have. But like I said, you know, we're first immigration generation. That you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And so we didn't have a family here. Like, I didn't have a masculine model or a father figure.
It's hard to be around men.
My father was absent. He was there physically, but he was either drunk or hungover or asleep, or, you know, just not there. But back to your topic of how you went from wanting to just be numb or escape. I didn't get there till like after my suicide attempt in my 20s.
Oh, wow.
So like I went all from like the depression as a childhood all the way up to my 20s without help, just thinking something's wrong with me.
Oh, dang.
And then finally when I cracked like in my 20s, early 20s, I cracked, and I had that panic attack / suicide attempt.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until then I started consciously like trying to numb and escape.
And that's when you started to feel the way you felt.
And then that's when I started to feel like I just couldn't be sober.
And it was hard.
Like, I didn't know who I was without the drugs or alcohol.
And you're just like.
And it's like, how do you get to moving on when you don't know what you're moving on to? You know, like, all you've known is this.
And what's next, huh?
Right. And then it's like, well, how do you go there? So then all I did was just at that point numb and escape. And then that's another season, another story. But
oh, wow.
That's why it's so interesting to me that for you, since you were little, you were already aware that you're escaping.
Yeah, I was like, I was nervous of the men I was with. Like my mom, she was always there. Like she was always there, you know. They both were, but I was more around my dad. But I couldn't even. There was a point that I couldn't even like be like next to him, you know, because I was so angry. I didn't know what I was angry about, you know. So I would take that anger, go to school, right?
Yeah.
First thing I would go do is like get in a fight or go with my friends. So let's go get high, you know, to forget. But then like once you're on the substance, you're like, what am I doing? I'm freaking out. Like, you know, you're breathing hard. And then you're off of it, and it's like, am I going to do it again? No, I'm not going to do it again, you know?
So that's when, I guess that's where you hit the nail on the head there. Your awareness moment was there where you said you're on the substance and you don't even enjoy it.
Yeah. Because I'm just thinking.
Because that happened to me, but like till I was in my 30s. It took me that long.
Nah, you're good. Nah, you're good because I had a lot of different perspectives. I was like, as soon as I step out, that's when I would be with my friends. Here, toma una cerveza, no pasa nada. Or here, hey, let's go to a party. And it's like, when I was at the house, I wasn't doing that. It was weird because I wasn't even getting high at my house. I wouldn't drink at my house.
So like, why all of a sudden?
It's when I would step out, and it's like, I noticed that every time I stepped out, and I'm not blaming anybody because everything I did was on me, but it was the people that I associated with, and it was just easy. Like, you're trying to have fun, you're trying to forget.
Yeah. Was that too? Yeah, it has an influence.
Yeah, and then you're just like, oh, I can't even be home. Girl.
And I guess for different reasons, right? Because it's like right here, you and I have a slightly different story of our motivations for using.
Yeah.
And if you put us in a room with another 30 people, they're all going to have their own story. But at the end of the day, you are influenced by who you spend time with. Like, if I would have been put in sports as a kid, you know, or if I would have gone to join a sports team during my college years, I don't know, just an example, you know.
Yeah.
If I didn't go bar hopping, obviously I'm not gonna be exposed to certain substances, you know, certain drugs and stuff. So I think environment does definitely have a huge factor to play, but that's probably another topic for another day.
And then
the whole rabbit hole.
The first time I went to a bar, right, I was 16.
Me too.
I was 16.
Yeah, me too.
Like, literally, I was 16. It's like, ooh, a bar.
Right.
Look at all the pretty things, you know, and it's like.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah, at 16, I went to my first bar. My friend was 21. I won't even mention his name, but he took me to my first bar, and I was like, I had like so much fun. But then afterwards, when I woke up in the morning, I felt so dry, like a dry raisin. Like no H2O in my body, no nourishment. And like, it's like, I was like, ugh, this is how people wake up. Like, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to do it again.
Really?
Yeah. Like, and I, at that time, I was like, what am I doing? What did I just do?
I see you had that conscience early on. I didn't.
You just continued?
I just continued, and I just kept on mixing stuff on top of it. Not only just started doing different drugs. Just exploring different other options, you know?
And the substance that I ended up using, I ended up getting it from my closest friend in the gym.
So it doesn't even matter if you go on sports.
Drugs are everywhere.
Yeah.
Even in our youth. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Entonces, how long did you keep that up? Because like I told you, I hopped from drugs, alcohol, different substances, you know, and then did you just keep on doing the drinking even though you didn't like it? Or did you stop here and there?
I stopped like for a few months, and then I would go back again. And then I stopped for a few months until I ended up in the hospital for pancreatitis.
A ver, hold on. Because you're 33 now.
Yeah, going on 34.
But you started drinking when you were 16. So how do you get from 16 to 30 something? What happened?
How do you explain it? Have you ever heard of a SUD? When they overdo stuff, when they overdo stuff, when they overeat, when they oversmoke, and you like, I would get a small amount, but I would buy a big amount of things, and I would just do it, wouldn't eat right, would drink myself till I didn't know what I was doing, you know, and then I ended up getting sick, and I ended up with a lot of stones in my kidneys. And
snappy.
Yeah, they were going to remove my pancreatitis this much. I was going to die. Okay, now, you would think, right? I would stop drinking, guys. I was
How old were you when that happened?
21. I didn't stop. And I promised my mom, no, don't worry. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to do this. When the doctor pulled out the sheet and what they found in my system, I was so embarrassed. I was like, I was like, all right, just show it to my mom, you know. I don't know. I just felt so depressed. Like, and then
Is that why you didn't stop?
I didn't stop, and I felt like nobody cared. I didn't want nobody at the hospital. I only need my mom. That's it. I couldn't even have my sister. She was a minor. Like,
Were you embarrassed?
yeah, I was embarrassed. I'm like, because everybody was always judging me, like putting me down, like, you know. And it's like, I don't want that. Like,
Yeah.
what I wanted is, hey, you're gonna be okay, and you're gonna overcome this. But after that, that's when the doctor told me, okay, you can't live for 3 years. I was lifting too. I was doing the substance while working out, right? That's how you know you have something wrong with you.
No, pues I think most people nowadays are highly functional. Like I did a post the other day saying like not everybody goes to rehab. You know, I think most people that are struggling with substance use or alcohol use disorder, you know, you just push through and you maintain your job, you maintain your relationships, and obviously they're damaged, but you keep pushing, you know, while you're struggling with cutting down maybe or quitting or da da da. But I think the majority of people are highly functional.
Yeah.
Like you're out there you're living a life, but you're not doing it sober.
Right? You're living it in a lie.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing?
So
Yeah,
that's when
I continued. I even had a close friend. He was the only one that visited me. I mean, he's not with us and stuff. He ended up getting himself in trouble, whatever. But he was the only one that visited me at the hospital. They took me out in a wheelchair. That's how bad I couldn't walk.
and you still kept drinking
Oh, yeah, I still kept drinking.
for another 5 years, right? Because if that happened at 21
Yeah, because I didn't stop drinking
to
till...
26.
Yeah, because I'm 30. I'm going to be 34. Like, now I can't even stand the smell of alcohol. It's so disgusting now. And I'm like... like,
there's hope, guys.
yeah, it's so gross, you know. And now I'm like, in order to get my stuff together, right, I had to stop talking to everybody. I mean, every single person, even if they were good, even if they were bad. It's like I didn't trust nobody.
Why?
People don't say who they really are. They really show you who they are in that moment with their actions.
Where you had that low moment in the hospital?
Oh, yeah. And it's like nobody cared, which I don't blame them. You know, who's going to want to be around a person like that? But at the same time, it's like...
Yeah, it shows you the other side of reality. Yeah.
Not only that, but I didn't pray as much as I used to, you know? And now it's like, in that time, I wish, you know, I could have knocked at myself and be like, hey, you're going to get through this. You got this. The doctor said that I wasn't going to be able to lift. I made myself walk. Like, I was like, I'm going to walk and I'm going to get up and I'm going to fight this regardless. I'm going to fight this. But I was still, something was wrong with me because I refused to stay home.
Yeah, because one thing is detox and then one thing is recovery. Like it's two separate things. One is you're abstaining from substances or alcohol, and then the other is you're actually rebuilding a life. You're healing. And I think that not being able to stay where you live, like not being able to find peace, right?
Yes, find peace.
That comes with healing and it comes with recovery. It doesn't automatically come with sobriety, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where I think there's a misconception too, where people think if I just get sober, everything's going to be okay. Or if I just stop using, life is going to be good and I'm going to be good and everything's going to be great. And it's not like that, huh?
No, it's not like that. I was like, it's not like that. Like this morning, I took a cold shower. You're going to be like, this girl's crazy.
No, I've heard great things about cold showers. That's not for the faint of heart.
No, yeah.
It's not for the weak-minded.
I made myself like take a cold shower because it helps you mentally. You need to find stuff that soothes yourself. You know
So
what
you
I mean?
have tools now. You know what to do to help yourself.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I'm not feeling well.
Yeah.
Let me take omega-3.
Right.
Let me,
What do I need?
maybe I need some breakfast. Or maybe
Right.
I need,
Oof, that's a big topic too.
yeah, because
Like people don't eat
nourishment.
all day and then they're like, I'm anxious. But girl, you haven't had your blood sugars through the freaking floor.
cortisol.
Your cortisol's up, your blood sugar's low.
Because everything, what's the first thing everybody goes for? A Red Bull or
El cafecito.
or a cafecito without eating something, some type of nourishment. Because what people don't understand is your stomach is connected to your brain.
Yeah.
You know, the neurons, the everything. It's like you need to, obviously, you're not going to go back like how you used to be. But, you know, now that I think about it, I don't regret what I went through. But, and then every single masculine that had raised me, I think that needed to happen. You know what I mean? In order for me to cherish life, in order to me to be like, hey, yes, I get sad. Yes, I get upset. I get angry, whatever. But I need to feel this. I need to feel what I'm feeling, you know? I need to be able to talk about it, you know, because like you said, people don't want to talk about things. They just rather go for the first thing. Let me go with my friends. And
I think that also has to do with them not having the skill, right? Because I think emotional management is a skill.
Yeah.
And even if you want to feel your feelings and talk about things, if you don't feel capable, if you don't have the skill, then you're not gonna get very far.
Yeah.
So now, thank God, you have skills, you have tools, you have a different relationship with yourself, you know. But back in those years, like from 21 to 26, the early recovery, right after that hospital visit, what was the hardest part for you? Because you stopped talking to people, you weren't praying that much.
Accountability
Was the hardest part.
Yes, because I kept blaming other people. I kept saying, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have done this. If it wasn't for my dad, or if it wasn't for this or my family, I was like, I need to stop blaming other people for my issues, for my problems. And I need to say, hey, you did this because you wanted to, because you chose the easy route.
You think that came with maturity, though?
Yeah, it took me a while to, because if I would have been like blaming everybody, I still would have been like, how do you explain it? Like on rage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now
you don't heal when you're pointing the finger.
Yeah, because I don't even like, I still like to box and to like, you know, to train, but I don't enjoy it anymore. Like I'm like, I'm not as angry. Now I like to read. Now I like to watch the novela.
Yeah, soft side.
Like, you know,
shout out.
I'm in my soft girl era. Leave me alone.
I love that for you. What was I gonna ask you? So the hardest part for you was the accountability aspect of it. So it came with maturity and it came with the recovery journey, right? So what else do you think that recovery has taught you about yourself?
It's taught me how to get to know me, how to get to know April. Like, what do I like? What I love a lot is food. Food is life. Food was the most thing that my grandfather, rest his soul, is how you would get close to him. That man, le gustaba de todo. And I got to know me. I got to get to know, like, I can't be hanging out with people that are very angry, you know, that they're on a different path than I am, you know?
Yeah.
So I got to get to know who I am as a person. I'm not this tough person that people think, you know, but it's my fault because that's the wall that I had to put up because I was afraid of people. Like how you say you were timid. I was very shy. I was like, oh my God, like I can't even talk. Like they're going to make fun of me or they're going to do this, you know?
Yeah.
It was very hard, especially the kids, the ones that are quiet. Those are the ones you got to pay attention to.
Shit.
Go through their room. That kid is too quiet. Go through their room.
Yeah.
Ask them what's going on in school. Like stuff like that. Your brother, your sister, or anybody, you know? Because we hide things.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, kids are very good at hiding. And understandably so, you know? It's just crazy how you can see things so differently. Which obviously now, as an adult, right? So everybody pay attention to your kids.
Right.
What is one thing that now is natural to you that used to feel impossible? So like before your recovery journey compared to now, what about your life now is like, man, I would have never have guessed, or like I would have never have pictured that was going to happen?
The word can't, I would always be like, I can't do this. I can't do that. It's like, no, you need to try it out even if you fail. You can't be like, I can't. You Before, I wouldn't even try. I would
It-
just be quit. I would just quit.
Would you say it's like self-trust or self-confidence?
I think it's like both.
Both.
Both at the same time.
That's a big one.
Because like at that time, I was just so negative. I was so negative. I wouldn't even try it right away. I would just start saying bad things, and I'm like, that's not gonna happen. And now I try things even if it's impossible. I just do it, you know, and I like whatever comes out is gonna come out. But at least I tried it. And for anybody that's trying to recover, in order for you to not know, like, if we didn't make mistakes, how would we know how to fix them? You know, you have to make a mistake. You know, you have to go through all those eggshells so you could give somebody else that advice.
Yeah, there's a contrast for everything, right? Like the two sides of,
Yeah.
yeah. What would you tell somebody that is listening right now and maybe is struggling with mental health or addiction?
One thing I would tell you is it's going to be hard, but you could do it. You have the ability to go through your success. And anybody could do it. And if you want to recover, start with yourself. Exclude yourself from people, even if it hurts them. You got to fix you. You know, put yourself together. It's not going to, how do you say it? Rome was not built in a day. It's going to take some time. But if you continue it, it could happen. And it will go good. I guarantee you, because I done it. I started with even walking.
Yeah,
Just walk.
it's the small things add up over time. I say that a lot.
Because everybody looks for that dopamine. That dopamine is what makes us happy.
Yeah.
So we're looking for that happiness.
Yeah, you just gotta find a healthier source.
Of course.
A healthier source
Get
for
some
all your
chocolate.
needs.
Starbucks, eh?
Is that how thriving looks like for you now? I like to ask this question. How does thriving look like for you now? Because obviously when somebody is in that recovery lifestyle, that to me is like you're thriving in life, you know? Because how do you go from like the complete opposite of using and harming yourself and harming others and harming your relationships and maybe being alone, being depressed, and then to the complete opposite of like now you're sober and your life is better, you know?
I guess I can say is I know I appreciate my life like so much. I should have passed away a long time ago. And I knew more about death than about living. And now anything that it has to do with like taking a breath of air.
That appreciation.
And I appreciate it because, you know, if it wasn't for me going through all that chaos, right now I wouldn't have wanted peace. So that's what makes me thrive.
The power of perspective.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, no, and I'm very happy, you know, I'm very happy who I am today, and I just feel alive every day. I just wake up and I want to do something. I want to persuade and I want to help other people, especially the youth. Every time I look at somebody that's young, I'm just like, that person's going to be our president.
You're very passionate.
Yes.
Yeah, about speaking life.
Yeah, because I love life. You know, some people don't, but it's because they need to save themselves, you know, the heartstrings.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sure that people listening are going to resonate and they're going to take something out of it. And I'm already motivated and inspired and encouraged by what you're saying today. It was a great story. I think that you said a lot of powerful things, and I hope somebody out there is picking it up. But it really matters, you know, conversations like this matter because it reminds people that change is possible, and especially when it feels like it's far away. Like if I would have told myself 10 years ago, hey, your life is going to look like this, I would not have believed it. Because when you're in the middle of it, like when life feels like shit and you're going through it, it's like hard to see a future. It's hard to have hope, yes. I think. And so I think when we're talking about things and we're on the other side now, you could say, right, we're on the other side of that struggle. And somebody that might still be in it is seeing our conversation and is saying like, man, why not me, right? Like if they could do it, why not me?
Exactly.
That's what I want to inspire, right? It's like that. Why not me?
Anybody could do it. Anybody could do it. I didn't even go to rehab. My mom was my rehab.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen. Thank God for moms.
Right? Hell yeah.
Thank God for family, friends. Thank God for support systems. Like any support system that you have is crucial, I think, because nobody could do it alone, you know?
Yes. No, I agree. And, you know, you just got to change your ways. Anything that you listen to, anything that's negative, throw it out the window. You got to, with me, what helped me a lot is changing a negative to a positive. So when I felt some type of way, which I know everybody does, right away, no, I'm going to change that. I'm going to listen to this. And that's what helps.
Your tolerance, having no tolerance.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. When I was recovering from my depression, I just had to have a, like, no tolerance for certain things. Just be on top of your mind, monitor your mind, huh?
Yeah, and it takes day by day. You know, there's times that I wake up fine and there's times that I don't. But I appreciate life every day that I wake up, you know, because I could have been in a worse place.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. Well, if any of you connected with today's conversation, I am releasing my first book in a few weeks. It's called Thrive Map, in which I talk about principles, practices, priorities, and perspectives that have helped me in my personal journey. So I hope you stay tuned in and grab yourself a copy when I launch it. Thank you.